Have you ever looked around and thought, everyone seems like they're doing fine? New apartment, nice car, designer coffee in hand, travel posts on Instagram. From the outside, it looks like success. But then, quietly, you wonder, why does it feel like none of this is ever enough? Why does my paycheck disappear faster than I expect, and still nothing feels secure? This is a story many millennials in the United States and Europe know all too well. Imagine a typical scenario. A 30-year-old professional in marketing, tech, healthcare, or finance. Let's say you earn $70,000 a year. Not bad, above average, respectable. After federal tax, Social Security, state tax, and healthcare contributions, your take-home pay is roughly $4,100 per month. Now life begins. Rent in a decent city apartment eats up $1,700. Utilities, internet, and phone cost $300. Groceries and essentials take another $600. That leaves $1,500. Transportation next. Your car lease or loan is $450. Insurance, gas, and maintenance, $250. Now you're down to $800. Student loans take another $350, and credit card minimums quietly nibble $200. Suddenly, from $4,100, only $250 remains for everything else: clothes, social life, saving, investing, emergencies. This isn't poverty, but it isn't freedom either. It's financial tension disguised as success. So what's the problem? Most people think the issue is low income, but the reality is more subtle. The problem isn't earning enough, it's what we've come to consider normal living. Housing, education, healthcare, transportation all have risen faster than wages over the last 20 years. Meanwhile, social expectations quietly escalated. A starter apartment used to be small and functional. Today, a normal apartment often has a gym, concierge, and modern design. A starter car once meant a used sedan. Now it's a $40,000 SUV on a multi-year loan. Education meant opportunity. Now it often means debt before life even begins. And none of this feels like luxury. It feels like baseline adulthood. Here's the hidden mistake. People aren't overspending on flashy items. They're overspending on monthly commitments. The danger is not the price itself, it's the structure of recurring payments. That $450 car payment for 6 years is over $32,000, not counting interest, insurance, and depreciation. Student loans over 10 years, another $42,000. Rent increases every year. Credit card interest quietly compounds. By age 40, someone who earned over $1 million in total salary could still have a net worth near zero, not because they failed, but because their money was pre-committed to survival, not freedom. Why do intelligent people fall into this trap? It's not stupidity, it's psychology. Humans don't measure wealth in numbers, we measure it in lifestyle comparison. We don't ask, is this financially optimal? We ask, is this normal for people like me? If your friends live in modern apartments and drive new cars, anything less feels like falling behind. Social media amplifies this. You constantly see peers living slightly better than you. You adjust upward, invisibly, slowly, incrementally. This is lifestyle anchoring. Once a higher lifestyle becomes the baseline, stepping down feels like failure, even if it improves your future. The result is we protect the present comfort at the cost of long-term financial flexibility. If nothing changes, this trap tightens. More income arrives, but so do bigger homes, better cars, family expenses. Cash flow stays tight, stress stays high. The most subtle danger, financial dependency on your job. You can't pause, take a risk, or breathe, not because your salary is low, but because it's already spoken for. Financially intelligent people think differently. They don't optimize for lifestyle, they optimize for margin, the difference between what you earn and what you commit. They ask, what keeps my future flexible, rather than what can I afford today? Two people earning the same salary can have completely different financial lives. One looks richer, the other is safer. Only one is actually building long-term power. This isn't about extreme frugality. It isn't about guilt. Many millennials didn't make bad choices. They followed the modern template. The problem is the template itself. Once you understand this, you stop feeling broken. The pressure isn't personal, it's structural. Awareness becomes your first form of financial control. So, when you look at your paycheck disappearing, at the rent, car, student loan, and lifestyle commitments, remember, it's not about earning more, it's about controlling what you commit to. Understanding this is far more valuable than any hack, shortcut, or motivational quote. It's clarity, and clarity is freedom. If this perspective gave you a new way to see money, consider subscribing. Calm, clear thinking about your finances is often the most profitable skill you can develop. And clarity doesn't arrive all at once. It usually arrives quietly. It starts when you notice that your stress isn't coming from one bad decision, but from a collection of reasonable ones that slowly locked you into place. None of them felt reckless. Each one felt justified. Each one was what people like me do. That's why this situation is so confusing. On paper, your life looks stable. In reality, it feels fragile. A single unexpected expense, a medical bill, a job change, a family emergency, suddenly feels dangerous. Not catastrophic, but destabilizing. And that feeling shouldn't exist for someone who appears financially successful. This is where many people draw the wrong conclusion. They assume the solution is to push harder, work longer hours, chase a promotion, increase income at any cost. Sometimes that helps. Often it doesn't. Because when income rises inside the same mental framework, commitments rise with it. The nicer apartment becomes acceptable. The better car feels earned. The lifestyle expands just enough to absorb the raise. The margin stays the same. And margin is what determines freedom. Margin is the space that lets you breathe. It's what allows you to say no. It's what gives you time, options, and resilience. Without margin, even a high income behaves like a low one. With margin, even a modest income can feel powerful. This is the quiet difference between people who feel trapped and people who feel steady. Financially intelligent people don't obsess over cutting every expense. They don't live in constant restriction. What they do instead is far more subtle. They are extremely careful about what becomes permanent. They treat monthly commitments differently than one-time spending. They understand that recurring payments are promises to your future self, promises that reduce flexibility month after month. They ask a simple question before locking something in. Will this still feel comfortable if my income stays flat or drops? That question alone filters out many decisions that look reasonable in the moment but become heavy over time. This mindset shift doesn't require perfection. It doesn't require extreme discipline. It requires awareness. Once you see how much of your income is already spoken for before the month even begins, your thinking naturally changes. You stop asking, "Can I afford this?" and start asking, "What does this commit me to?" That question changes everything. Because financial pressure isn't caused by spending money, it's caused by removing future choices. And this is where the story becomes calmer, not more intense. You don't need to feel behind. You don't need to feel guilty. You don't need to overhaul your life overnight. Most people who feel financially trapped aren't irresponsible. They're simply operating inside a system that quietly normalizes permanent obligations. Once you understand that, the feeling of personal failure starts to fade. You realize the pressure wasn't a character flaw. It was structural. And awareness is powerful because it restores agency. When you understand where your money is actually going, and more importantly, what it's committing you to, you regain control over the direction of your life, even without earning more. That's why financial clarity matters more than motivation, more than hustle, more than shortcuts. It gives you the ability to make calm, intentional decisions, not reactive ones. And over time, those decisions compound quietly in your favor. If this way of thinking helped you see money differently, consider subscribing. Clear, rational understanding is often the most valuable financial skill you can build. So if you've ever felt confused by your finances, not desperate, not reckless, just strangely stuck, that feeling makes sense. You're not failing. You're navigating a system that quietly rewards appearance over flexibility. Once you understand that, the pressure begins to change. You stop blaming yourself for not feeling ahead and start seeing where your money is actually going. Financial stability isn't about looking successful, it's about how much room you have to adapt when life changes. The goal isn't to live smaller, it's to live with fewer invisible chains. And the moment you start thinking in terms of commitments instead of income, you regain something valuable: control. Not overnight, not dramatically, but steadily. That awareness alone puts you in a different category than most people. If this perspective helped you see money more clearly, consider subscribing. Calm, rational thinking about finances is one of the most useful skills you can develop.